Hello, students and parents. This is our quote unquote freshman orientation night video. I might also have like a freshman orientation chat at the end or at some point. So if I don't answer all of your questions or if I made more questions arise for you, that we could all kind of talk as parents, me, and then and your students as well. Maybe your students have questions. And I usually do a presentation with them very similar to this as well. And I didn't get to do that this year. So if any of you guys have any questions, then I think it would be nice, a great idea for all of us to come together and do like a little chat. And I might just open myself up for a Zoom meeting one day and then one night. I mean, so like once everyone's done with work and everything, and then can try to get people to come to that. So without further ado, this is what I would normally do and share on a freshman orientation night. So I am going to start sharing my screen because I always start with the PowerPoint. So high school and beyond. Let's try to make this as quick and painless as possible. So really this is just planning for your future. We're going to start with high school. Now you're done with middle school and you're kind of like, this is like, high school's a big deal, right? Like it's new stuff where it's really just planning for your future. That is the whole purpose of high school, planning for your future. I am your guide, Miss Jessica Schmit. I'm not sure if you guys can see the picture of me on the side, but it's like covering up some of my words. So I'm going to move it a little bit every once in a while. I hope you guys do, because then it makes it more personable, but it doesn't matter. So where do you find important documents? If you needed to find important documents, well, we have a high school website, of course, viberghurley.k12.com. And you've probably been there. There's Minutes with Mellum on there. There's all sorts of different documents on our website. And I would definitely tell you to go look there if you ever needed any documents. So class schedule, this changes yearly. Our class schedule changes yearly. Right now I have our class schedule on my website, and there is the website right there, but I will walk you through at the end of this how to get there and how to access any documents. Because what I would normally do if I was in person with you is I would print out 4 different documents. I have everything in front of you, and then we talk one by one document at a time kind of thing. And then it's a little different this year. So we're just kind of going to get by. We'll do this together. So big thing is that to graduate high school, state requires you to get 22 credits. Now, I'll explain this later, but actually I'll explain it now because I brought it up. So other schools, some can ask people to graduate with more. Like, for instance, I used to work at West Central, and they needed, like the kids there needed 24 credits to graduate. But the bare minimum for the state is 22 credits. And then that looks differently as to what those 22 credits are, depending on the school you go to. So we'll talk further about that. What does that even mean? 22 credits. Okay, so each semester, so fall semester, you'd get a half credit. So let's say you were in algebra for fall semester and you pass the class. You get a half credit for that. Then you go on and take the second half of algebra in the spring. And then you pass that as well. And so you get another half credit. Basically, a whole year class is worth 1 credit. So you need to take 44 individual half credit classes or 22 full year classes. Some classes are just worth half a credit. So anyway, many classes, and I would say majority of classes, are a whole year. Like Spanish 1, that's going to be a whole year. Algebra, that's a whole year. English 1, that'll be a whole year. There are certain courses that just were a semester long, and you don't have to necessarily take it both semesters. We'll kind of get into that as you go. I'm going to try to slow myself down and kind of ease my speaking and my tone of voice. So it's don't panic, kids. It's okay. We'll get through this. It's all new information. You'll learn it as you go, one step forward at a time. There's a lot that you can do in life with just taking one positive step forward at a time. Next step is, More important documents. There's other school forms, like our high school student handbook is on our website. Very similar to our middle school student handbook. Usually during freshman orientation, Mr. Schoenfeld will talk about the rules that go along with having a computer or having a Chromebook, but you've probably already signed a document saying like that you won't harm your Chromebook that you have right now. So it's probably old news to you. Not exactly sure what you have heard in the past, but all of like information for student handbook is on our website. So different situations as to if what happens if I get caught smoking at school. Well, the student handbook would tell you exactly what would happen. And so that has a lot of information there. Also, there's my counselor website, which we will be referring to later, and I'll type that in for you, and we'll get you registered for classes by the end of today, hopefully. So there's a lot of information on my website as well. Any documents I have on my computer, at one point I basically just dumped all of my documents on there and like named them, of course, but there's a ton of documents. Some that you might not even care to ever even see, but there's a lot of documents on my website. A lot of information if you ever needed it. Okay, so let's talk about South Dakota requirements. So I did say that the state, as of 2018, changed their the South Dakota Board of Education got together and said, you know what, I think that the classes we're forcing kids to take in high school are not exactly what they necessarily would need once they leave high school. So we're going to edit some of these. And so they made the state requirements lower. So what that means is every single person that goes through South Dakota to get a to graduate South Dakota high school has to have at least these minimum classes. And if you click that link, you could get then to where the South Dakota Board of Education 2018 requirements are. And we'll actually look at a quick picture of that too, next slide. So as Viber Hurley administrative team and the school board, they talked and they decided on certain classes that they're like, you know what, we want all of our kids to take all these classes. So the list is the following. Here is the state requirement. Remember, this is the minimum for every student in all of South Dakota. Remember how I said like West Central requires 24 credits total? The bare minimum is 22. Viber Hurley, we allowed 22 credits, and then you can graduate. But you have to have 22 credits in the right areas. You can't have 22 PE credits, and that's it. You need 4 units of language arts. You need 3 units of math, 3 units of science, 3 units of social studies, 1 unit of a combination of CTE or world, capstone or world language, 1 unit of fine arts, a half unit of each of these, personal finance or economics, physical education, health, and 5.5 units of just whatever you want, whatever seems to fit what you want to do with your future. So there it is. That's the state requirements as of July of 2018. Obviously, since you guys can pause this and look further at it, and you obviously can't ask questions, so I apologize. You can ask questions when we do our Zoom meeting at another time, but you can pause it and look at it as much as you want, but I'm going to go on. So each student in the high school comes up with a personal learning plan, basically a plan tailored to them for, does this fit my career that I want to go into? And obviously, you know, your career idea might change a little bit, but we want to keep as many doors open. I have talked to the kids about a career, and look here, SD My Life. I think you guys can see my little arrow here. Students, we have used SD My Life we matched ourselves with a future career, and it like the SD My Life matchmaker match the students with careers that fit their personality. And so we've looked at just different options, and we looked at like what kind of education that those people would need. So to be an accountant, you need to have a 4-year degree in accounting, and then you need state certifications and all that jazz. But we looked a little bit into possible future careers and what would work best with your students and you as students, if I'm talking to the student. So we went through that. We did talk about like, hey, it's a smart idea to take more classes versus taking less classes, really just keeping all of your options open because, you know, like for instance, when I was an 8th grader, I wanted to be an accountant. There is no way that once I hit my junior year of high school, I took accounting class and I go, nope, that is not for me. And if I would have just only taken classes that would have been applicable for me being an accountant, I might have missed out on a lot of different things that made me who I am today. And so keeping all of your windows and doors open just so that if you change your mind career-wise at any point, your education is still there. That's a huge thing that people cannot take away from you. They can't take your education. It stays with you forever. Once you've earned something, you've earned it. Like you earn your graduation or diploma. Once you've earned your graduation diploma, you've earned it. They can't take that from you. You earned it. You spent a lot of 4 years or more, and you've earned it. They can't take it away from you. So each student creates a personal learning plan that's really tailored to them, and then we just sit and talk about throughout the years. We look at it and we just say, hey, did anything change? Did you take an accounting class and did you think it was the most awfully boring thing ever? All right, if you did, let's switch it up. Let's make some changes. And I'm sure glad that we kept you taking that other course because you're going to need that for whatever was not accounting, you know, whatever. It's tailored to you. That's the whole point, is we make it tailored to you. Here is the state's language arts requirements. You need 4 units of language arts. Those include writing, a unit and a half, so a year and a half of writing courses. Literature, which is reading, so a year and a half of reading, which includes the American Lit. The state forces everyone to take American literature. Speech, half a year, and then an elective of language arts for half of a year. So this is how it looks like in our Viber-Curley School District. Our district language arts progression: to get 4 credits, freshmen end up taking English 1. It's pretty simple. Like we don't have, it's not a big school, so we don't have super option, like a ton of options. Sophomores, they take English 2. We threw in speech into that, as well as like either a writing or a reading course. So speech is also going to be included in your sophomore year. Your junior year, English 3. There's a literature and a composition class in that. Your senior year, you can either take Spanish 4, or if wanted, and if your grades are good enough, or your ACT is high enough, you can take college level composition or a college level literature class, and that could be your progression. So that's your language arts. It's pretty straightforward. We have English 1 through 4, and you kind of go through that as a progression. Next is math. This one gets a little bit more interesting. You need 3 units of math. They must include at least geometry at the state level. For Viber-Curley, everyone got together and decided we want everyone to take Algebra 1 and Geometry and Algebra 2. But there's a little asterisk next to Geometry and Algebra 2, and let me read why that asterisk necessarily is there. So with school permission and your parent and guardian permission, approval, and signatures, of course, a student may not have to take either geometry or algebra in favor of a more appropriate course for them. So for instance, I'm really struggling in math. I just can't do it. I've tried to take it 2 times. I'm gonna be like, okay, parents get together, students get together, we all decide on an alternative plan. A student may then be excused in rare circumstances from Algebra 2 or Geometry, but definitely not both. They do have to take Geometry. If they are excused, 3 units of math are absolutely still required. So here's a natural progression at the Viber-Curley School District for math. Freshmen tend to take Algebra 1. Sophomores tend to take Geometry. Juniors tend to take Algebra 2. Seniors end up taking either pre-calculus or a college algebra or a college trigonometry or a consumer math. So you have to take so many units there. Science requirements, 3 units. You need physical science, that's your freshman year. Biology, you have to take chemistry or physics. And actually, there's an asterisk next to chemistry or physics, very similar to the asterisk that was with math, that a parent or guardian can say, oh, it's chemistry, physics, or forensic science, by the way. We have forensic science as well as a lab. Or anatomy as well. I think that one's up there too. That's definitely a lab. So with parent or guardian approval, you can then take anatomy or forensics. But we want your parent's signature on everything that we do, and we want to make sure that we're preparing you for your future, which is why we have that personal learning plan. All right. So science, all right, that's what it looks like. Here's what it looks like in our school and Viber Curly. Freshmen take physical science, have to. Sophomores take biology, they have to. Juniors can take chemistry or anatomy. Those are not have-tos, but that would be where they end up taking them. And seniors tend to take physics, and other things offered are forensic science. Now, new thing that we're doing this year is because there's only one science teacher, we need him for a lot of different classes, we're offering chemistry and physics every other year. So next year, your year that you're going to be at the high school, they're offering chemistry. Then the year after that, they're going to offer physics. Then the year after that, they're going to offer chemistry again. Then the year after that, physics. So the big thing was that not a lot of people were taking those courses, and we needed Mr. Gronke to offer anatomy and forensics. So that's not something you necessarily have to worry about now. Physical science is what you're going to be taking next year, but that's the progression. Now, social studies requirements, that's at least 3 units, so 3 full years. World history, geography, those 2 things you're going to take as a freshman. U.S. history, you take as a junior, and U.S. government, you take as a senior. There's an asterisk next to U.S. government because you can take U.S. government through college, and then you wouldn't have to take it through Viber Curly. Other courses that are offered, and this kind of changes year to year, honestly, because we have a lot of different there's a lot of people that take these as electives, and there's a lot of interest in taking different courses. So we try to switch them up a little bit. This next year, we have psychology, philosophy, current events, wars and conflicts, profound events in history. And then I do know that we are looking to have sociology in the coming years. So here's some other requirements. Computers, health, personal finance, capstone. We did talk about that a little bit earlier, but for you as freshmen, you are going to be taking computers, and then for 1 semester, and then the other semester is going to be a careers class to really help you focus in on what career you're going into. Honestly, this school is here to help you prepare yourself for life and beyond. I mean, just life after school. We're trying to help you prepare yourself for after high school. So we're going to do a lot of career things. Like we have that senior capstone that is 100% a careers class as well. Just like your freshman year, you take a careers class. Plus you have to take 1 full unit of fine arts and then 1 credit of a CTE course. We have ag and business. Okay. Now, there's a big difference between requirements that you need to take and then preparation for what you want to take. So requirements, that's the bare minimum, right? So like you have to take this. You have to take biology, okay? I have to take it. Now, preparation. If I want to be a doctor, I am going to prepare by taking as many math and science classes as possible. I'm probably even going to want to take anatomy, chemistry, and physics, as many as possible, honestly. That would prepare me the best for my future career. So and if you're at a point where you're like, I have no idea what my future career consists of, keep all options open. Take as many courses as you can and don't limit yourself. Allow yourself to have any option in life that you want, because you can all do whatever you want to do, but it takes effort to get there. Now, there's different South Dakota college admissions, and I could read those to you, but I mean, that's 4 years away still. There's also a bunch of scholarships. I have a whole scholarship website. I can talk to you more about like the specific scholarships, but there's a lot of people that realized that there were certain needs in South Dakota. For instance, there's a need for HVAC heating and cooling. And so Denny Sanford, Sanford Premier Center guy, and the Sanford Hospital, like he's a philanthropist, like gives a lot of money places. He put money towards the Build Dakota Scholarship so that South Dakota could train more HVAC heating and cooling specialists. So then if you're going into that program, you get like a discount on college, but then there's like you have to stay in South Dakota for 3 years at a certain job. So it really helps build up South Dakota, which is it's a beautiful, beautiful program, both Dakota Core and Build Dakota, great systems. But that's college, so it's 4 years from now. So I'm okay if the students tuned out from that. And parents, if you want to know more about that, absolutely talk to me. But I'm going to move on. Dual credits, this is also in like 3 or 4 years for you. There's a lot of, and we want your high school experience to be as tailored to your future as possible. So we offer dual credits. Which just means that you take a class through a college, and we give you credit at the high school level, and they give you credit at the college level. 2 birds, 1 stone. It's a great opportunity, and it's much cheaper than taking college classes at the college. So it's a wonderful opportunity all around. And we can talk more about that in the upcoming years as well. Now, huge for freshmen. This is new. If you don't pass a class, if you fail a class, you have to take it again. Like, remember how there's those requirements? Like, if you don't pass Algebra 1, you have to retake it until you pass it. Until you get all of those credits that the state and our school says you have to get, you have to keep retaking those classes. And the law says that you're here until you're 18. I say that not to scare you, but like, hey, you're here. And we're going to be here to help you and to guide you to help your future as much as possible. I'm here as a counselor. Teachers are here. There's tutoring. There's Friday school. The principal's here to help. We are here to help you pass your classes and we're doing this together, right? I just don't want you to be overwhelmed that this is new and it's going to be something that you're going to be panicking with. Trust me, we've prepared you as much as possible to get to the high school level. If you made it to high school, you are prepared, but you have to put an effort to your classes or you won't be passing. And then you'll have to retake, which is not fun to retake a course. Next, extracurricular activities. This is amazing, right? And a lot of 7th and 8th graders probably already have been in some different sports or different activities like FFA. We offer a variety of extracurricular activities, and they're amazing. You get to meet new people. You have friends with all sorts of people. Should talk to people that are not in your, like, that are fellow freshmen, maybe some sophomores, juniors, seniors. It's pretty fun. However, you're a student athlete. So the student part comes first. So your grades, and I know you did this in 7th and 8th grade too if you were in any sports or any activities, but your grades had to be a certain level of quality before you could play your sports or be in going to any FFA activities. So, and I can't exactly remember what the requirements are. If it's like, if you're failing a class, you can't play, or I can't remember. That's like the athletic director, Mr. Schoenfeld, could give you a little bit more information on that. It's also in the handbook. If I would just read through it, you can also do that as well. That's just not my area of expertise, but we need to keep our grades up. So definitely an incentive to not just pass your classes, but get good grades. Here's where I ask any questions about high school. I usually hear crickets chirping for about 2 minutes. But hey, we're not in person right now, so we can just skip that. And again, we can do a Zoom call and with the students and the parents, and we can just all kind of talk about if there's any extra questions. Maybe I mentioned something and you thought of another question that you wanted answered, or maybe I answered every single question you had ever thought of with high school. I'm not sure. but I'm here for you if you have any questions. Last part, we are going to register today. I'm going to move my picture because it's in the way. I'm not sure if you guys see it or not, but hopefully you will because it's a little more personable. Step 1, when we are looking at our registration and our schedule for next year, there's certain courses that every single freshman are taking. So it's pretty laid out, like you're taking this at this time, you have to. But some of you are in different math courses. Like some of you already took algebra as a freshman, so then you'd be taking geometry. Some of you will then be taking algebra. So that's the first thing I want you to do is put your math class in. Step 2 is take as many required classes as possible. Get your fine arts done right away. Don't wait till your senior year to take band or choir. You're going to need, just take it now. Majority of your classmates are going to be taking it right away anyway, so just do it now. And your CTE courses, or if you wanted to take Spanish, go ahead, take it now. Might as well get all of those requirements in right away. And we also have compiled in there computer science and careers, and computer science is one of those classes that the state says you have to have a computers class. They want you to be technologically savvy, at least enough to take a semester's worth of a class in. Step 3, any class periods that you have left, choose your favorite classes that are offered for you. Step 4, you can have up to 1 study hall period. Not everyone takes a study hall, and you don't have to by any means, but it is definitely recommended that you have a study hall class. And that doesn't count, like when we look at the schedule, you'll see like, oh, some people are going to be taking a study hall opposite of their lunch if they're not taking choir, which is great, but that does not count as your 1 study hall. So some people might have a study hall and a half. Reminder, every single class period has to be filled. Let me say that again. Every class period between period 1 and 8 has to be filled on your registration form because you have to be accounted for at all times of the day. All right, that's the end of my slideshow. I'm sure I answered some questions. Maybe it had you think of more questions. And what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to help you register as if you were like sitting with me. So I'm going to have you open up to Google, right? We're just going to go find my website. So I guess first things first, if we're in Google, you type in my name, Jessica Schmit, and Viberg Hurley website. Let's see what pops up. Well, on mine, it says staff, and I could click that. And actually, my website is right there, and you could probably click it if you click that one. And like, I have all sorts of different website things here. Let's actually just go to the staff webpage. So you can see everyone's staff website. Every staff is supposed to have a website, or every teacher is. Scroll down to this awkward looking person right here. All right, there I am. This is my website. You could type that in too. It's just my first name, middle initial, last name, .weebly.com. I'm gonna click it. And it takes me to this website. And here's the video that I made for talking about how I was going to do our counseling program, our comprehensive counseling program for the whole district over the pandemic days. So that was just the picture there. High school registration, that's where I want you to go to. So click on that, click. The beauty of this is that you can pause the video at any time and rewind me, which is great. So here's high school registration for 2020 to 2021. Here's our class schedule. You see a lot of things that are blacked out. These are courses that you cannot take. For instance, like when Mr. Kessler is eating lunch, you can't take his lunch with him, right? Or Miss Brown, when she is with the elementary kids, you can't take a class with her. She's not available at that time. She's in the building, but she's in her room, but she's just not available for any classes for the high schoolers. So I blacked those out so that you couldn't see them. One thing I'm noticing right now is that Mr. Jacobson, if you'll notice, 6th and 7th period, you see that? 6th and 7th period. He's in the elementary for PE. He's going to be in the gym or with the elementary kids, so you can't take a elementary PE. You did that a long time ago. You're done taking elementary PE courses, so you can't take that as a course. But everything else looks great on there. I should black that out, though. And so that's the schedule. Every single period, you have to be taking something. You have to be accounted for in it for every period. So I also color coded this for you guys, and I just like color. I'm a visual person. The blue ones are specifically majority classes that freshmen take. The green ones are more sophomores. The orange ones are juniors, and the red ones are seniors. And then the white ones are really just ones that you don't have to take, but there's kind of electives. So I just didn't color them. Oh, and also down here, we are not sure exactly if it's the Southeast Co-op that we're going to get Spanish from, but Spanish this year, you can either take Spanish 1 or Spanish 2, or freshmen, you would have to take Spanish 1 first before you take Spanish 2, but everyone else can take Spanish 2 if they've taken Spanish 1. If you choose to take Spanish 1, it'll be more on independent and on your own. And you'll just sign up for Spanish at any time, at any one of those 8 periods of the day. But it'll be like on your own, and you'll just be in a study hall. So like, let's say you decide to take Spanish 1 first period, you'll be placed every single, like there's a study hall at every single period of the day. And it looks like Mr. Jacobson right here. Mr. Jacobson has a study hall first hour. Second hour, Mr. Schoenfeld has a study hall. Third hour, Mr. Schoenfeld has a study hall. Fourth hour, study hall is with Mr. Kessler. Fifth hour, 5A technically, Jacobson has a study hall. 5B, so the second half, Mr. Hansen has a study hall. Sixth hour, Mr. Hansen has a study hall. He's also going to be having a few kids in there taking accounting courses. Period 6, Mr. Hansen's having a study hall. He's got 3 study halls in a row. Awesome. And last period of the day, Mr. Jacobson would be having a study hall. So if you were taking a Spanish, that's where you would be during the day. So in those physical rooms. Now, if you scroll down further, I don't think the web page fully went through. Nope, it didn't, because this is what I wanted you guys to see. Okay, so right here is where I placed the freshman orientation PowerPoint if you wanted to be able to click on anything. I just wanted all information to be available for you. Like I said, there's like an overabundance amount of information on my website there for you guys. I'm actually going to put this video right underneath there as well. So everything is literally in the same spot, just hyper organized as much as possible. I want to quick show you what I use for graduation requirements, or I make sure, like I check off the list of, did you take this class? Yes, yes. And before you graduate, before you walk across the stage, I make sure that you've taken absolutely every single one of these courses. This is Viborg Hurley's specific document for graduation. So I'll show you that. This is something that you would normally have in front of you at freshman orientation. So the 22 credits, as we talked about, English, social studies, math, science, capstone, CTE or world language, fine arts, PE, health, personal finance, computer science. We basically have a system set up so that you take certain classes at certain times. And we let you know that, and I'll show you what yours looks like, or what your document looks like. But if you wanted to see, this is the 4 years that you're going to have to take. One at a time, though, one step forward at a time, right? So we're only thinking freshman year. But that document is on the website. I'm going to go back to my website here. Next thing is that, well, we've talked about all the classes. We see right here the high school schedule. We just need to actually apply for the classes. So are you ready? Ready or not, here we're going. What I want you to do is click Freshman. If you click Freshman, that will pull up a document, a PDF document that you can fill out for whatever classes you're wanting. So I'm going to click it, and this is for your classes. Here are the classes that specifically you need to take. It'll say required if you need to take, if it's a required class, right? So English, you'll be taking English 1. Mathematics, you got to choose one of them for whatever level you're at. Science, you're going to be in physical science. Social studies, you're going to be taking world or geography and world history. That's required. A CTE course, things that are required next year are that you take their computer class and you take careers. Again, we're wanting you to be as set up for your future career as possible. So those are things that are required. You could take a world language if you wanted to. I would recommend taking band or choir or both. And then personal finance and PE and health, those are taken later on. So this is what it looks like for you. And then I'm going to scroll down even more. There's 2 pages. This is what I need you to fill out. And I was talking to Mr. Schoenfeld. It's a very interesting situation, I suppose, that not every student has the same type of computer. 8th graders, right, current 8th graders, so you guys, freshmen and sophomores all have Chromebooks. And whereas like juniors and seniors have a different type of computer. And so we were like, well, how, if they don't have the same applications, what are we going to use for them during like this time to type in this document? Because we don't have, what we normally do is print it out. You'd sign it, your parents would sign it, you'd fill out your requests and everything, but we can't do that this year because of the pandemic. So we found a solution. Mr. Schoenfeld found this great tool, and I'm going to click on, I'm going to find that tool for you. Again, it's on my website. Say it's exactly on that same page for high school registration. Scrolling down, there's the high school classes. And here it is. Typing in a PDF document resource. So this is your resource to use. I'm going to open it in a new tab so that we can still see our schedule here. Try to see as much of the schedule as possible all the way down to Schoenfeld. Okay, perfect. So what I need you to do is this document right here. I need you to, and then you're going to have your signature, my signature, the principal's signature. One of the two. We're basically, Mr. Jensen and I work together to make sure that you're taking the correct courses. And so if we see that the other person has a signature on there, we're like, all right, that's great. Like, end all, he absolutely needs to sign it. But if he sees that I have signed it, he will look at it a little less carefully because he knows, oh, he trusts that I have looked at it pretty thoroughly with you. And then he'll be like, okay, she approves of it. That's good enough for me. It's good to hand in. So let's get started. What I need you to do is download this. So there's a little button up here that has like a little arrow. Download it. I like to, I'm going to save it. On my computer, I have Adobe, which is a nice system to use, but I'm actually just going to save it somewhere. I guess I'll find out where it'll save. I actually kind of hate doing that because I never know where it'll save to. Like where did it go? I'm not exactly sure it went. So this is what I'm doing. I'm putting it on my desktop. I'm saving the file as testing registration 2020 freshman. I'll also make a video for sophomores through seniors as well. So then I'm going to save that. I'm going to put it on my desktop. I like to throw things on my desktop, the one that like I'll eventually throw away, like put in my trash. So that's where it's going to be for the time being. So testing registration. So it's saving to my desktop now. And what we're going to do is we can just close that now. We're using that the tool that was on my website, right? It was on my website. I clicked it here, scrolled down, typing in a PDF document. I saved it to my desktop, or I saved it wherever you could find it at. And is that what automatically came up? Yes. Okay. So I am going to upload a PDF to this PDF Escape is what it's called, and it will work for absolutely every computer and the Chromebooks. So thank you, Mr. Schoenfeld, for finding this. So we're going to upload. Where did we put it? We're going to browse for it. I put it personally on my desktop because it would be easier to find. Goodness, what did I call it again? Registration. Oh, testing registration 2020 for freshmen. So I'm going to click it. And here we go. Now I can start editing things. So I'm going to scroll down. Those are just like the guidelines kind of for what freshmen end up having. All right. Here's how we're going to use this PDF Escape. First, your name. All right, very easy. I know my name. That's easy enough. I can type that in. It says, complete each semester with a class title. Okay. Students will be allowed 1 full hour study hall per semester. Okay. And then potentially you could have study hall during, instead of choir, you know, later on if you finish all of your fine arts courses. And reminder, refer to graduation requirements. That whole document that had 22 credits on there that I check off on. Use that as a guidance and additional registration information when requesting your courses. So, first hour. Okay, well, let's talk about what is already written in here. Careers class is second hour. Advanced computer apps is also second hour. It's just locked in there. Every single one of you freshmen are going to be taking those courses. Same with choir. Unless you're taking band, you don't have to take choir, but majority of you are going to be taking choir because you need a fine arts, right? You need to take 2 years of a fine arts, or no, excuse me, one full year of fine arts, and choir is worth a fourth of a year because it's like it's during lunch, so it's like a shorter time frame. So you'd need to either take 2 years full, excuse me, 2 years full of choir, or 1 full year of band, or a combination of the two. So that's why it says choir or study hall. You will absolutely have to be taking physical science because it's required. English 1 is also required, and world history is also required. So that's already set in stone. So let's look back at, remember how I said the first steps? Our first step is to think about what math class I need to take. All right, so I'm going to pretend that I took algebra already. So I have first hour opened. I could take band. So if I want to take band, I could take band. I already took algebra, so I could also take geometry there. You could take it like a strategic reading or tech writing, but usually that's a higher level course, or not a higher level, a higher like juniors and seniors. It's kind of there for juniors and seniors. But those would be, or profound events in history. So history class. So I'm going to go with band. I'm going to type in band, and I'm going to take that the whole year. I'm just going to get that out of the way. And I shouldn't say it as get it out of the way. I like band, so I'm going to take band. I'm going to type that in there, band. I already had my name at the top, so I know we will, like Mr. Jensen and Ms. Schmidt will know that band is for me. Careers is already there. Let's see, what do I take third hour then? Oh yeah, shoot, I said that I needed to take a math class. I was supposed to do that first. Whoops. All right, my math class. Have to put that in there first because that's a required thing. I took algebra last year, and I need to take geometry. Well, let's look at the only math teacher is Hyriggs, and there's 2 geometry courses. It could have been first hour or fourth hour. Well, since I want to take band, and I already put band in there, I'm going to put geometry fourth hour because I have to. I mean, I have to take geometry at some point. So those are the only 2 options. So geometry is going to be fourth hour. So I'm going to type in geometry. That is definitely a full year class. Geometry. That looks so weird right now. Geometry. There. Perfect. my schedule's almost done. How cool is that? Like there wasn't a whole lot of extra stuff to do. But now I have a blank spot. I can, oh, I guess take that back. Before we even look at third hour, do I want to take choir or should I use that as a study hall? I like to sing and it's going to be like freshmen, sophomores, and maybe even some juniors. I think that'd be a fun class to take. It's going to be big, and it'll be fun. I think I'm going to take it. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can. Well, I suppose I could white out the SD. Oops. Study hall, because I'm not going to take study hall. I wonder if there's a way to. Oh, I could freehand and circle choir, chorus, and then chorus. What did I just do here? I don't know what I just did here. I have no idea what I just did there. Hopefully you guys don't do that. Must have just like, no idea what I did. I suppose I could go backwards. Is there a back space? There we go. Backwards, backwards, backwards. What did I do to, there we go. I must have put in like whiteout in there. So I'm not a big fan of that whiteout, but you could totally use it. I would probably go for freehand, just circle it. Choir. I want to take choir. If I decide later on, this is not set in stone for second semester by any means. It'll be fairly set in stone for first semester, but second semester, I mean, you could change your mind. Like if I decided I don't like choir, I would rather just have a study hall, or maybe it's not even that I don't like choir. Maybe it's just that I'm taking hard classes and this is, I would like the extra study hall. So I could change my mind later, but for right now, I think I'm gonna say I'm confident that I know what I'm gonna have enough time to do homework after school, or maybe even just get homework done during the day. I think I'll be all right. But if I do need to take study hall later, switch it, not a problem. Okay. Last thing, third hour. Let's look at what is offered third hour, right? Third hour. So that's where a lot of my freshman student or like peers are going to be taking algebra 1, but I already took it, so I can't take it again because I mean, since I passed it, I know I'd pass it again, but what a boring class would that be? I've learned it all already. Personal finance is red, so that one's for seniors only. English 2, that's green, so it's for sophomores. I'm going to take a plant science, I suppose. That's one option, or a study hall. Did I put a study hall in there? I mean, I know I could have had the option for a study hall during fifth hour, but you know what? I don't have a study hall. Now, do I want to be risky and not have any study halls? You know, I'm not really a risk taker. I like to make sure that I get my homework done before I go home. So I think I'm going to have study hall third hour. There are definitely people that decide, nah, I don't need to study hall. I'm okay. I get homework done in class. I'm not a problem. I like to have that added cushion in there so I don't get stressed out. I get stressed out very easily. So look at that. I made my schedule fairly quickly, typed everything in, used the freehand to circle it. Let's scroll down and see what else I need to do. And I just kept having another tab open to going back and looking at what classes were offered, you know, just to see what's out there. Now the last part, it says I need approval signatures from the principal or maybe even Miss Schmit, or both, right? Just to kind of make sure that everyone's on the same page, but I definitely need my parents' signature. So usually you're sitting next at freshman orientation, you're sitting right next to your parents and your parents are like, you need to take this, you need to take that. You guys talk to each other and then your parent freehand writes their name. So my mom's name is Cindy, so she writes like this, and this by no means is something that you are writing. This is your parent's signature. You never forge someone's signature. So they would write their own name here. Ooh, yep, cool. Oof. You know, free write's not the best when you have a like like, what is it? Just your pad that you're kind of using. Some people have maybe like a point, like a clicker, like a mouse. Goodness, I can't words. A mouse point clicker. Make sure your parents sign that and approve it. And then what I need you to do at this point, we're done. However, we need to see it. So what you're going to do is you're going to save this and you're going to share it with someone. So where is that save button? Print document. Here, save document. This is definitely a program that I've really not used because, I mean, I don't think any of us have used it. Mr. Schoenfeld just found it himself. So I'm going to save this document the way that it is. Where did it save to? What does this do? Highlights. Where did it save? Well, I suppose I could search to see. No, how would I know? It would. I mean, I suppose ideally I could have done this before the video, but I didn't think it'd be this complex to save things. Okay, so what even would it be called? PDF escape? Documents? No, I want to look in my documents. Do I have any documents in there? I guess we'll find out. Or I suppose I could go to recent documents. I always love that recent documents thing. I don't even see recent documents on mine though. Wherever it saves, we'll find it. It's saved somewhere, right? It's searching absolutely everywhere on my computer. And apparently I have a lot of documents. Go figure. We're saving it. I'm going to pause my video. Or I was going to. Sorry, guys. I don't think it's finding anything, honestly. I don't know where it went to. It obviously saved somewhere. Oh, save and download. That is way better. Then I know where it saves to. Look, save file. I think I know where it saves to. It totally saves somewhere. Let me look through my documents, I suppose. I just wish I knew what it was called. Downloads, because I recently just downloaded it, right? No. Look at all the stuff I have. Holy cow. Nope. Well, in hindsight, this will be really great. Oh, here, downloads. No, that's absolutely what I was just looking at, downloads. I still like the recent documents. We'll find it. Hold on. Definitely it's saved somewhere. Save and download PDF. We already tried that. I know personally that I can open it on Adobe, but I don't know if you guys have Adobe. That would be ideal for me. You guys are probably a little bit more tech savvy with the Chromebooks because I've never used Chromebooks and I despise them, honestly. So what I would do is open this up, find the file, save it. But since I don't know what you guys have available, print document, I can print it. Here, okay, so print, I'm quote unquote printing it and saving it to a PDF. So I'm gonna click OK, because that's not the name of my printer. I'm printing it to a PDF. I'm gonna click OK. So if you're ever in like need of figuring out how to save something, you can print to a PDF, which is totally not printing, but I don't know why it's called that. I'm gonna put it on my desktop because I like to place it again in certain areas. freshman. All right, here, I'm going to do, again, testing. I'm just going to do testing registration. I'm going to replace it because it's the same document. I just wrote on it, right? I'm going to replace it. Yep, I want to replace it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my email. I'm not going to go to my personal email because I don't want you to see what I have confidential documents in my email. I'm going to go to my email. I am going to then email Miss Schmit, myself, jessica.schmit at k12.sd.edu. Yeah, sd.us, not edu. I'll have to think about that one. It's been a long day. And also Mr. Jensen. So both of us send that, email it to us, and done. You're done. And then we will print it out. We'll get it figured out. And then that way we don't change germs or anything, exchange germs. So I know that this was a little bit longer than anyone would have wanted, but of course I had to walk through how to even do this during the pandemic. So thank you guys for listening. And if you have any questions, we can talk about it during a Zoom meeting with everyone, or you can personally email me. All right. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night.